everyone, I am Dr. Imani Gupta, and if you are preparing for any competitive exam, then remember one formula that what you remember during the exam, everybody does remember it, but what you miss during the exam, not everybody misses that. So you have to know what you don't remember after a time, and you have to know what not to miss. Okay, so during your second reading, pick up every page of your notes and mentally highlight what are the points which you actually don't remember. Okay, also take the previous year questions of INICET which you don't really have to miss. So mark the same page with the previous year questions of INICET. Now if I will extract this content and organize it into a separate page, then I will get a whole picture of this topic in the short form, and this is actually needed for NEETPG, the short key picture of whole topic. So I am going to show you my short key picture of parasitology part 2. Part 1 helminthology I have covered already in the previous video. So I have extracted and organized my notes of amoeba, flagellates and sporozoa during my preparation. So without wasting time, starting with amoeba. Okay, so previous year questions of AIMS, they asked the life cycle of identification, whether it is ant amoeba histolytica or the free living amoeba. You see what is there outside the human body. Okay, if it is only cyst, then it is ant amoeba histolytica. As the name suggests, free living amoeba, the trophozoite can freely live outside the human body. So if you see both cyst and trophozoite outside the human body in the cycle, then it is free living amoeba. While the ant amoeba, the only reservoir of trophozoite is human, and it cannot live freely outside the human body. This is that simple, and the treatment obviously differs. It's amphotericin B for free living amoeba and metronidazole for ant amoeba histolytica. Okay, so these are the content which you don't really have to miss. Okay, and what not to forget is everybody, they have their own specific points. Like I forget the NIH swab, Dorov's round cyst, and the paramomycin for intestinal phase, and the chloroquine for extraintestinal phase. So this point may differ person to person. What are the points which you tend to forget and you feel you have to revise? You can write it here. Okay, like amoebic meningoencephalitis caused by free living amoeba, I have written there. Okay, so coming to flagellates, if I look giardia, then there are, everything is similar to ant amoeba. The only thing which differ is the oval cyst. Ant amoeba has round cyst and it has oval cyst. Okay, so oval cyst, it causes vitamin B12 deficiency because it causes steatorrhea, and reservoir is not human, here it's beaver. Okay, coming to trichomonas, I remember only 3 questions. There is no cyst phase in the trichomonas, CPLM is the culture media, and strawberry cervix. Apart from this, if I recall, what I need to remember is falling leaf motility and string test, antro test for giardia, and twitching and worming mobility, and metronidazole for trichomonas. So these are the points which you don't really have to miss because they have been asked in the exam, and these are the points which I need to remember again and again. Coming to hemoflagellates, it is divided into trypanosoma and leishmania. Okay, so trypanosoma is trypanosoma cruzi and bruzi. C for cruzi, C for Chagas disease, you can remember that. Okay, so the vector they ask frequently, so you can write the vectors of all the 3 flagellates at one place, and they ask the infective stage. So you can remember trypanosoma as trypomastigote as their infective form, and trypanosoma uses the culture media Toby media, T for Toby, T for trypanomastigote, and T for trypanosoma. You can remember like that. And for leishmania, it's NNN media and promastigote, right? Coming to diagnostic stage, so A for amastigote, and you have only one diagnostic stage for all the 3 flagellates. So amastigote is one and only diagnostic stage found in all the flagellates. Okay, but the location differs. It's heart, colon and esophagus for trypanosoma, while it's reticuloendothelial system for leishmaniasis, where we call them as LD body or kinetoplast. It has been asked many times. Okay, the last thing they asked about the treatment, so we study like sodium istipogluconate and amphotericin B, but they asked what are the first line drugs. The first line is always amphotericin B and not the sodium istipogluconate. Okay, few points like Romanas sign and Winterbottom sign I have also written there. So these are the points which you don't really have to miss because they have been asked in the previous year question, and the points which I need to remember is exactly same as written here. I didn't find any extra point which I need to remember except some treatment specific points like benzamidine for cruzi and surama and pentamidine for brucei. Because they have asked for amphotericin B, I have written the other two for other two. Okay. The mode of transmission stercoraean was asked, so I wrote here bite also for the CC fly. Now coming to sporozoa, I will now show how I actually extract the question and organize them. So there are 5 sporozoas, and if I put all the previous year questions in one page, this is how it looks like. And now what I extracted is the intermediate host of all is human, but they don't ask the intermediate host, they ask the definitive host because it is different for all the 5 sporozoas. So you can see definitive host is cat for toxoplasma, for Balinthidium it is pig, Plasmodium is Anopheles, and Babesia it's heart tick. Okay. Similarly, I also found the pattern that they ask mode of transmission of each sporozoa, specific infective stage. So for Toxoplasma, you can see human transmits tracheozoite through blood transfusion, and they get oocytes and bradycyst through ingestion. So mode of transmission and specific infective stage they ask. Similarly for the Plasmodium, when Anopheles is the mode of transmission through bite, then they transmit sporozoite. When it is blood transfusion, they transfer T for transfusion and T for trophozoite, and when the mode of transmission is maternal, that is vertical, they transmit merozoite. Okay. So if I will segregate these things into a tabulated form, okay, they are also ask some laboratory test like Maltese cross for Babesia and IgG avidity for Toxoplasma, and similarly Ecol form for Plasmodium. If I will segregate all these things into just tabulated form, this is how I actually extract the previous year questions, which you don't really have to miss: the definitive host, mode of transmission, and infective stage, clinical feature, lab, treatment, and prophylaxis. And if I fill this with the help of this previous year questions, I will get this. Okay, and I also written here the points which I need to recall again and again, because I don't want to forget them, because everybody else is going to mark them right in the exam. Okay. So definitive host of Toxoplasma is cat, for Balinthidium it's pig, for Plasmodium it's Anopheles, and Babesia it's heart tick. Similarly, you can remember the mode of transmission and infective stage, which I enumerated just right now. And clinical feature, there are many clinical features, but what they ask specifically is ciliary dysentery for Balinthidium. See, everything is like ant amoeba, but ant amoeba causes amoebic dysentery, while the Balinthidium causes ciliary dysentery, right? And for Plasmodium, you know the features of malaria, cerebral malaria, everything, but they asked algid malaria. And what is algid malaria? Malaria when it causes shock. For Babesia, it's hemolytic and renal failure, and coccidian they are the most common sporozoa causing opportunistic infection in HIV, which causes diarrhea. Okay. For the laboratory investigation, Sabin Fieldman dye test for Toxoplasma and IgG avidity for Toxoplasma, you cannot miss this. And Ecol phase for Ecol form in the microscope for Plasmodium falciparum. I have also written the banana gamete for Plasmodium falciparum, which I need to recall because they have asked Ecol, so they can ask banana shaped gamete. And Maltese cross in Babesia, which they transmit through blood transfusion. And acid fast cyst, you have to specifically remember all 3 cysts with their size. So here I have written, they will show you this kind of microscopic picture, the small 4 to 6 micrometer cryptosporidium, and rounded 8 to 10 micrometer cyclospora, and the oval shape covering almost whole slide 15 to 35 micrometer cryptoisospora. Okay, so these 3 specific points you need to remember, I have written them here. Okay. Then the few points which are not previous year questions, but I feel I need to remember, I have written there. Your points will be different. What are the areas you forget are different. So in this video I have covered the part 2 of parasitology. We keep on reading line to line and then page to page, but reading this way is only for first reading and not for subsequent revision. So just these 3 pages are sufficient to cover them in your last moment revision. I have covered the helminthology everything in 1 page in previous video, and for biochemistry also I have converted this 6 page into just half an page and many other things, so you can watch it. Thank you. Let me know if this was helpful for you or not.